Hello everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Varundev Solanki, and I am here to talk about starting the robotic automation journey. I work for GreyOrange. Um, I've been with GreyOrange for about 10 years. I work as a founding team member. In my work at GreyOrange, I've worked in several roles. Some of them in engineering, some of them on sales side. So yeah, hope I'm able to give something interesting for you to take away today. So in today's presentation, we will start a bit by talking about what is GreyOrange, a bit about the current state of warehousing, and then we will talk about the main topic, starting the robotics journey, getting past the acronyms, understanding what the journey looks like, and talking about some use cases. And after that, we will close with some summary and open for Q&A. All right, so quickly diving into it, a bit about GreyOrange. We help brands basically reduce cost, increase speed, and improve customer experience. We do this by providing AI-based SaaS platform, which integrates with a wide range of robotics. And what we do for our customers is improve their operations KPIs, productivities, reduce costs, and also improve the end customer experience. And we have been doing this since 10 years, and in the meantime, we have we have gotten the chance to work with some major brands in Europe and US. And we are headquartered in Atlanta, 650 plus people, 40% of those in R&D, and yes, thousands of robots running globally. At heart, we are solvers. This is the culture code which our company lives by. And this is what our DNA is. And when customers work with us, we lead with this mindset. So with this, we dive into what a changing world looks like. And today's warehouse fulfillment is under pressure. Definitely, there are various factors affecting it. Labor shortages across North America, EMEA, leading to rapidly increasing labor costs. Market dynamics, excessive competitive pressure at the same time, which is in effect leading to quite a few new formats of fulfillment cropping up. And at the same time, in the past 10 years, the advancement of technology has been extremely rapid. And this basically gives an opportunity. At the same time, it presents its own challenges when the field is advancing this rapidly. What do experts have to say about this? Warehousing has trailed manufacturing in how the automation needs have been addressed. Constraint-based planning capabilities have been pretty minimal. And Gartner analyst Dwight Clapper, what their view is that automation has been in silos. And essentially, recently, they have added a dot to their hype cycle because of how GreyOrange approaches this problem, which is by creating a software layer which has pre-integrated with multiple types of robots. And I'll talk a little bit more about the Grey Matter platform as well as we go a little bit deeper. Flexible, scalable fulfillment platform, what we call Grey Matter. Going further, so what is gray matter and how is it different, right? How we look at it is that this is a highly configurable and flexible software platform which is optimized for human and robot collaboration, right? And how and this is essentially made by people who love this, right? This is a notification for an upgrade in your phone when a new, let's say, an iOS version is ready to be updated, and this is made by people who love this. And the idea is with our SaaS platform, this is the experience that we want to bring to warehouse operators, managers, who can experience continuous improvement in a warehousing context. And we are doing this with a software platform which is extremely real time. We do 1 million decisions per minute on the number of deployments that are in the market, and is extremely dynamic. So with this software platform, we look to integrate a wide range of processes across the warehouse. And essentially, what this means is that is one platform which works with a very wide range of robots. And what you would notice on this slide is that I think a few robots here are made by GreyOrange, but a lot of them are coming from our partners, and we love our partners. And what the software platform does is that it gives a holistic solution to the customer with KPIs at the end of the day, and of course support as needed. So that's a bit about GreyOrange. Now, if we look at, yeah, we saw a lot of robots, and yeah, interesting. But how do you start the automation journey, right? So first things first, we get some acronyms out of the way. AGV and AMRs. This does confuse a lot of people. Well, it confused me for a couple of years. And how I understand this is that AGV is something which can do a task on a repeatable path, and the amount of flexibility, the amount of intelligence around it is limited. Versus an AMR is something which has several sensors and can do its own dynamic path planning and get around, do the task as needed in a much more flexible manner, and is not limited by the constraints predefined. Some other acronyms over here are cobot or personal assist AMR. These are also sometimes known as assist AMRs. Again, these are bots which can cohabitate with humans in a field and work alongside them. Some more acronyms: LiDAR, well, light detection and ranging. This is just a 3D mapping technology. What it enables is SLAM, which is simultaneous localization and mapping algorithms. And again, these are used for cobots. Some more abbreviations for you to glance through over here. Now, with these abbreviations in mind, what does a typical journey look like if you set out to implement robotic systems, right? All journeys, I believe, start with the most basic questions. How much is the throughput? What is the design day? How vary is your throughput? How does the process look like? Are there any bottlenecks? What is the area? Are layouts available? Are you going into a new building? Is it an existing building? How many people are working in how many shifts? And what's the inventory look like, right? So it all starts with these initial questions. And basically, us, any provider, can look at these initial questions and give you an initial assessment, right? Whether what makes sense for you, what doesn't, right? Once you have gotten past, yeah, it makes sense. It passes the smell test, and it's going to hold water. Yes, roughly 2-3 years ROI. It is possible. After that, we go into a detailed analysis and then try to build out a business case with you, right? Next set of considerations would be on the integration side, right? What is the WMS that you're working with? What is the ERP that you're working with? How well we can integrate your system with it? What all protocols are supported? Some examples of protocols are on this slide. Some examples of payloads are on this side. A quick primer on what are payloads and what are protocols. Now, how I understand them is a payload is something which is user-centric. You and me can understand what a payload is. If I want to send you a video, well, that is a payload. And how I send it is protocol. It could be sent in one shot. It could be broken into a million pieces and then sent it. That's what is defined by the protocol. And this is what is necessary to understand whether in the initial phase, how conducive is your WMS or your ERP to integrating with automation? Or do you need to pick up another project before you automate your warehouse? The second consideration, next is deployment. Yeah, well, you have a massive operations. And yeah, you have hundreds of people right now, can be done with maybe 20-30 people. Brilliant. How do you implement it? Do you go with a big bang approach or do you go with a multi-phased approach? What mitigates risk for you? Are some of the questions that you need to answer. What is the timeline that you're looking at? Is there a peak coming? How do you prep for that? How do you not risk your peak? Are some of the questions that you would need to answer. And these would need to be integrated into the project planning. And what does a project plan look like, right? I mean, this is of course, a delivery plan, right? But some of the elements over here, right? What does a delivery plan need to incorporate? Of course, it would start with the nice things, kickoff and initial workshop, integration discussions, and whatnot. But the next step should be documenting all of it and agreeing, getting all the stakeholders aligned internally as well as on your vendor side. Next, you would go away and manufacture it, and of course, simultaneously integration activities would start. Once products start coming to start reaching the warehouse, you start doing some testing on it, doing some user acceptance testing on it. And once the system is completely installed, stabilized, you go live, you ship some of your first orders, and then you figure out a way to ramp up, right? And make sure your ramp up is such that you have de-risked enough such that you are ramped up and ready before when you need the system. And so this is what a typical project plan looks like, right? I mean, here we have shown a 6 to 8 months timeline. For smaller projects, it's 3 to 4 months. For larger ones, it can be more, right? But this gives a sense, right? Next, I mean, this, what you see over here is not something which can directly be integrated into the project plan, but these are definitely things which you should keep in mind while thinking about this from an implementation perspective. Is there exec sponsorship? Is there commitment from leadership? How enabled and how basically how is change management being done within your organization? How are people aligned? There needs to be a lot of education and basically discussion that needs to happen within the organization before you adapt such a big change into your organization. Training, what are the KPIs that you're going to sign up for? And what is the vendor going to deliver? And what is the testing going to look like? What is the ramp up strategy? And what is the final transition plan? Right, so these are some of the considerations that you should also think about in addition to the project plan. And with this, I think we are ready to look at some use cases. This is to give you an idea of what does end result look like, right? Once you have gone through the process of figuring out what you need to do to actually doing it. Next couple of slides give you a sense of what does it look like as an end result. Yeah. The first case study is from an implementation in an IKEA store. This is an atypical implementation for us. Most of our implementations are in warehouses, but some of them are also in stores. And we will let the customer talk about us here.
In FY19, IKEA Finland's fulfillment setup was so that the parcel orders were fulfilled from Sweden. That meant a price tag and a lead time neither us or our customers were happy with. At the same time, our Kuopio store was over-dimensioned and we saw an opportunity to better utilize our space for the benefit of both customers and our business. By introducing the warehouse automation and centralizing the parcel deliveries to Kuopio, we have reduced the parcel lead time to customers from over a week to 24 to 48 hours, while increasing customer satisfaction and the unit profitability.
Our automation is known as goods-to-person solution, where the aim is that workers don't need to walk long distances to pick the goods throughout big IKEA store. In our case, robots are bringing goods in front of the picker. Currently, we have pretty much 6,000 different articles inside the automation, and beginning of the project, we set the goal that we shall never walk into market hall or the showroom to pick goods. Range is of course optimized for the parcel production, and our aim is to get as much complete parcel orders out of it. But it serves us also with all the other fulfillment flows happening inside IKEA store. It has turned out to be a good hybrid model. Automation is serving the needs of total Finland online parcel customers, and it is supporting store processes and flows and helps us to be as commercial and effective as we can.
All right, so what you heard there was basically a system which is deployed primarily for one purpose, e-commerce fulfillment from store, which in itself was quite valuable, but it ended up taking a lot of other peripheral processes as well within the store, as in click and collect or order in store and then pick it up towards the parking lot. So this has been a huge success. At the same time, this is a automation which can handle a wide range of product. It is implemented on multiple levels in a mezzanine and is very space efficient as well. Next is an implementation with ActiveAnts. And this was a customer which actually was struggling quite a bit, right? They are major proponents of AutoStore. Everything they implement is all of the fulfillment they do is via AutoStore. And essentially, the challenge that they were facing was they wanted to expand really fast. And they were looking for end-to-end process automation. But beyond AutoStore, after the picking is done, conveyors was the only solution that they had found thus far. And that was turning out to be extremely expensive. And the lead time was also slowing their growth. And therefore, we implemented an innovative solution with them. And this has now been implemented in 4 or 5 warehouses. Essentially, this is a multi-step process flow, which is being done by Ranger Move Smart. It starts with empty carton induction into the system. These go to AutoStore for picking, where we are picking directly to order cartons. Once the order is complete, the bots take them to the right leaders, where labeling is also done. Now these, they have multiple sizes of cartons, so there is quite a bit of complexity that they had. And after packing is done, this does sorting, right? So this was a solution which replaced a very complex set of conveyors, leading to, I mean, something like a 40% reduction in cost, right? I mean, it was unheard of, and a 50% reduction in lead time, and therefore they have really grown a lot with this. And what else you would notice is with this automation, they also took the advantage of the flexibility that it offers. Phase 1 was something like 60 bots, and as needed, they grew it. And ultimately, the phase 4 was 150 bots. So that's how they went with it. Next example is actually not with a large fancy company. This is a Romanian company called Pharmacia Thai. And but however, they were experiencing very high growth in pharma and personal products, and they implemented our solution, and they have been able to support their growth extremely well with this solution over here. And the next example is of a home improvement player based in Chile. And yeah, they have implemented multiple bots with us. And essentially, they were able to avoid going into a second warehouse by implementing this solution in their first warehouse itself, and hence was a major saving for them. Yeah. So a couple of things I would like to draw your attention to in this video. They have worked with multiple types of robots. One of the bot was just doing pallet transport from point A to point B. Now, this is a massive warehouse, and they had to the tune of 20 to 25 forklift operators working in every shift. And like in Europe, forklift operators are hard to come by, in Chile as well. And of course, everything becomes very prone to accidents as well, as soon as you have such a large number of forklift operators running around in the warehouse. They implemented one of the largest fleets of interlogistics robots for transporting pallets from point A to point B, and got a significant level of reliability within their operations. And secondly, they implemented a goods to person solution in which they were picking from for multiple channels from a single system. They had a version of Manhattan previously, and they were facing quite a few challenges doing that from a single piece of stock, fulfilling multiple types of channels. By implementing this system, they were able to do that. And interestingly, the mix of like for many retailers, the mix of orders for one channel versus others was very different in the pre-COVID era versus the post-COVID era, which I mean, for them it was extremely easy because all the stock was in one place. Robots were the same, fulfilling all the operations. So instead of working for task A, they started working for task B. But that's the kind of flexibility that they benefited from by implementing this. So that's all about the case studies. And I think with that we are ready to summarize. So, excuse me. So how I look at this is that leaders in the supply chain and warehousing industry have been using software to drive innovation, to drive improvement since 20, 30 years, right? That's what we have been doing. But ultimately, what is software? That is something on a screen which can be improved to a certain extent, and which can be further improved now in today's day and age with robotics. And while doing that, what the things that you would need to keep in mind is that yes, selecting the right warehouse execution system or partner in the robotic space is challenging, but it could be a differentiator for you. Some of the things that you do need to keep in mind, a quick recap is on one of the things is software integration. Whether you need to integrate or not is not the only question. The level of integration which you do is also, I think, a significant question to be evaluated. Because the more information you give to a warehouse execution system, technically, it should be able to use that information and optimize its processes further. Just taking orders and picking them is probably just half the story. And lastly, on the software front, you do need to look at, from an operations point of view, what is the promise and what is the level of visibility that the warehouse execution system can deliver. And with this, what you're looking to do is use software to drive a step change and select a software which is integrated appropriately with automation, which can enable you to do that, right? I mean, the numbers that you look over here, right, are not something which you can only achieve by just software improvement. When software gets coupled with robotics technology, it gets the ability to move things in the real world. And that's when you can achieve these kind of results. And in today's day and age, as leaders, my call to action would be, let's use technology to drive our business strategy and come out stronger of these economic challenges. Thank you. Thank you.